Ayubowan, welcome to Dhammahadaya. What do you think is Sri Lanka's biggest attraction to foreigners? Is it Sigiriya, or are they the golden beaches of Sri Lanka? Well, it's up to you. We thought we would have a discussion on this matter, and to discuss about this matter we have invited the correct person from Sri Lanka Tourism. He is none other than Mr. Vipula Wanigasekera, former diplomatic officer, lecturer in tourism, and currently attached to Sri Lanka Tourism in the Ministry of Economic Development. Mr. Wanigasekera offers Dhamma discourses and meditative sessions both in Sinhala and English, especially to tourists, to foreigners who seek inner peace and happiness. And I would also like to add that Mr. Vipula Wanigasekera is also the proud author of the book Pointers to Enlightenment. So we warmly welcome you to our discussion. The way I initiated this discussion, asking our viewers, what do you think is the biggest attraction in Sri Lanka to foreigners? I would like to point that same question to you. What would you say?
Well, as you know, tourism is one industry which is now doing extremely well in the country, particularly after the restoration of permanent peace. And ever since then, the country is hosting quite a number of tourists, and there is no looking back.
Yeah.
And all these attractions in our country, be they mountains, ancient cities, heritage, beaches, wildlife, all these attractions are the reasons why they are coming to Sri Lanka. But from the spiritual tourism point of view, and considering a large number of tourists who are traveling out of their normal environment, that is out of their own countries, presently it is reckoned to be well over 40 million tourists, and they are out seeking some kind of inner peace or tranquility, some kind of serenity within. And considering that, I was wondering, after all, Sri Lanka has preserved Theravada Buddhism, the pure form of Buddhism, for thousands of years, and this could well be the most precious and the biggest attraction, provided we communicate it effectively well to the foreigners overseas, and then Sri Lanka will be a venue to offer this precious Dhamma to those who are seeking inner peace. So therefore, I believe, in terms of that, this could well be the biggest attraction, in spite of the fact that Sri Lanka is gifted with all the other natural and ancient attractions in the country.
Okay, so you just happen to coin a term, spiritual tourism. I mean, I would like you to just explain it a bit more to our viewers. Is this practiced in other countries?
Yes, now you see, the word spirituality by definition is seeking or looking for sacredness. That is how the definition goes. But this was until the year 1970, 1980s. This was more religious based, more faith based, people belonging to various religions. So they were seeking this inner peace through their own religions. And of course, not to undermine any religions at this stage, but you see, in life, as you know, there are inevitable occasions. You reach old age, and you are subject to sicknesses, and you are reaching inevitable death, which Lord Buddha very, very specifically stated in the term dukkha. And this is something that no human being can escape from. So naturally, these things lead to some kind of suffering. And that is what is obvious. But at the same time, you have in the modern world, there is also mind-driven suffering caused by anxiety, stress, worries, anger, hatred, it's all over. It's, if you just walk into the society, even in your workplace, wherever you go, you see these things in people. They are always, you hardly see a man smiling. It's all over the world. That's the kind of a rat race, and that is what the rat race has created today, because either it is a commercial smile, or it is an artificial smile, or it is a sarcastic smile. You hardly see a genuine smile coming out of people. It's mainly because of this anxiety or stress that they're going through. So people have realized this, and they are beginning to realize that these material gains, whatever, at the end, as a human being, what do you look for? It's peace and happiness.
Yeah.
And when they realize that you don't get it with wealth or power or anything, at some stage of your life you realize it, that you are not going to get your peace and happiness through this, then they begin to look around. And this is how people started traveling out. And this is why you had some spiritual leaders who became very popular in the 70s and 80s, and thousands of people flocked around them to see whether they are getting anything out of them. And this is the trend. Now people, some people go to yoga, some people go to Ayurveda, some people, they engage in meditation. And 40 million is quite a lot. And I can say that there are places like Amaravati in England, Plum Village in France, then Wat Pho Nanachat in Thailand, Montesaja in Portugal, and these are the places that are offering various discourses to which thousands of people, they take the flight in the morning, they listen to the discourse for half an hour, then they get back. So this is the current trend at the moment, and Sri Lanka is not doing enough towards this, in my opinion.
Okay. So now, as you think that it is very clear that Sri Lanka is not like catering to this need, currently not sufficiently enough, maybe catering to this need. Now, if I ask you, sir, where does Buddhism stand in the quest of these people who are just, going out for spiritual, tourism, or those who are traveling out in search of peace and inner peace and all that?
Right. Now this is very, very interesting, and if you really research into this, which I have done in the last several years, the spiritual leaders who have emerged in the last 10 years or so, and they are very, very popular right now, from Eckhart Tolle to Adyashanti to Bert Harding, Deepak Chopra and Ruth Spira. These are the people who are in the front line today in the spiritual world, and thousands of people go to meet them, sometimes only for half an hour, sometimes for a retreat of 2-3 days. Now what is surprising is, actually Sri Lankans ought to know this, particularly the Buddhists. The message that all of them convey to their disciples is the very message that Lord Buddha has spelled out long time. Be in the present moment, and the world is an illusion, and the mind is the cause for everything. This is what they all are saying. And further, all of them give full credit to Lord Buddha, saying that he was the first human being to have discovered this truth, which they say they are conveying to their disciples. So this is very interesting. So although they are traveling to other countries, what they are eventually hearing is the very message that Buddha was conveying during his lifetime.
Okay. So, why do you think that Sri Lanka has not been able to attract these spiritual seekers? And why do you think so? And
I suppose perhaps maybe that the need has not arisen to the extent that you and I would probably look at the issue. But what I would say is that in the last so many decades, probably the Dhamma, the attempt to spread the Dhamma was very much focused locally. I think today you can see there are a lot of sermons taking place, and there are a lot of efforts being made by the sasana and all that is, but it is very inward focused. It's for the people in Sri Lanka. And then the other reason why I believe is the reason why they are not coming to Sri Lanka to learn Buddhism is perhaps some of these practices emanating from traditions and culture, and particularly for foreigners, who are, the way they think, in a modern style, they try to correlate something, a particular practice. What is the relationship of that to the eventual peace and happiness?
Right.
When they cannot relate this or fathom out, how can this practice be useful to me in the realization of peace and happiness, then they get little confused. And then also another reason why that we should not get confused with spiritual tourism to pilgrim tourism. Now there are a lot of Buddhists who are coming to Sri Lanka to visit the temple of Tooth Relic, and they go to Anuradhapura, they go to Aru and various Buddhist sites, and they are pilgrim tourists, because the people who are longing to visit these places of significance.
Maybe most of them are already Buddhists.
Well, yeah,
they are
people
pilgrims,
who are pilgrims, and they are coming from China, Japan, Thailand, so they prefer to go to these places.
Yeah.
But the people who are really seeking something for them, is there anything
some
that
spiritual progress,
some kind of a progress, some kind of a inner change, the transformation.
Yeah.
And we have not been able to sort of offer them, well, this is a place where you can have it, or this is a kind of a program through which you can. I don't think we have gone to that extent. And also perhaps there's another reason. I believe that there are indeed meditation centers in Sri Lanka, and they have been there for a long time. And they have set programs. Now, Lord Buddha has specified some 40 types of meditation techniques, and it is for you to choose the right one. And it's a trial and error. You go on, selecting based on your own characteristic, whether you have the Kamachanda or Vyapada or Tinamidda, and it's like a pharmacy, all the drugs are meant to cure some illness. So you don't go and buy all the drugs, you buy the drug that is, that is necessary. So similar to that, so that identification, how would you know that a particular person requires this particular meditation? Some can actually go straight into insight, So who would judge that? So that is another kind of a dilemma that we have, particularly when these people come looking for inner peace. So those are the perhaps the reasons why I believe that we have not done sufficient work towards this. But as we go on, and of course with the emergence of total peace, and we have people coming from all over the world right now, and tourism industry is flourishing right now. So with that, I am sure, and some initiatives that we have made, there is a progress.
I think you are the best person to ask, since you are attached to Sri Lanka tourism. What steps should be taken?
Well, I suppose that first of all, you have to have these language skills. It doesn't matter, it could be German or French or Spanish, and to convey Dhamma across. And secondly, this is also, you have to apply a little bit of marketing thing to identify what kind of things that these people have gone through before, because some people who come here, they have already gone to India, they have gone to various other countries. So what kind of things that they are really looking for? What have they not?
Yeah, because I think people come with the question, what's in it for me?
Yes.
So you have to cater to that.
Exactly. You have to cater to that, identify and also ignite this interest in them, for them to go on this search. So you need to be a little tactful. So now, having said that, I must tell you that, we can always say, that we should have done this. So I have made some initiatives on my own, because you see, after all, it is what you do at the end, we can say that, this could be promoted. So on my own, I have launched a program which is right now, catching up, the more than the expectation. So I'm very happy about it. And I'm conducting this program myself.
Yeah.
And
Please tell us about the program. How do you conduct it?
yes, I must.
I'm sure our viewers would like to know.
No, after I actually
Yeah.
launched my book, I started offering discourses and sermons, particularly to those who are really, and these were locals at the beginning, people who have gone through traumatic conditions in life and people who are suffering with terminal illness. So I have been supporting them with this kind of discourses, and then I started. I must thank Siddhalepa, the Ayurvedic, the company, because they have a Siddhalepa Ayurvedic hotel, and they are the ones who offered me this opportunity first, and they invited me to do this for the foreigners first. And when I began some months ago, I had only 2 or 3 foreigners listen to me, but I must tell you that it, just to put it modestly, now when I go there, about 20-30 people waiting in the hall, because apparently it's the word of mouth, because with the people who attend this session, they go back and they tell them, look, don't miss that meditation program. And I am employed, so I can't do it, so I do it during the weekends. And they say, it is only once a week, so please ensure that you follow that. And the way I conduct is that, as I told you, first I offer them a discourse, and I give them an opportunity to ask me questions, which helps me to ascertain exactly where they stand, whether they have had some kind of training before, whether they have gone through some kind of a spiritual programs, and what kind of understanding they have. And then, I decide what kind of a technique that should be offered to them. So initially it's just a relaxation and observing your thoughts, observing the movements, and to be in the present moment. That's the very beginning. Of course, as you know, Anapanasati is a meditation technique that was first introduced by Lord Buddha himself, and it is the simplest form of meditation. It's the highest form of meditation also. But of course, you need to kind of tactfully get them to a focused kind of a meditation. After getting them to go through the relaxation process, which is very necessary. Initially, your mind is all over, your thoughts are all over. So the discourse for about half an hour enables them to put things together and come to some kind of a serenity, and then they are in a meditative mood. To get
and they're
on
ready
from
for
there.
it.
They are ready for it. So that's the kind of a technique that is adopted at the moment. And I must tell you that I hope I can get around another few more people to help me in this exercise, and with that I think that initiative certainly work.
Sure. And if you would like to tell us the venue, where do you conduct these sessions?
Now this is the difference. Now what I did was, I have sent out, one of the reasons why people are reluctant to come to, because when you say you have a date, you have a time, you have a meditation center, then either you are not free on that day, or you have some kind of a problem of some transport of them. So what I have done, I have sent out a notification to various groups, international communities, saying that I am prepared to come to a location of their convenience. All I need is, it has to be a very quiet place, and they should be able to hear me. That's the only prerequisite, and the time can be negotiated. So therefore, there is no specific place except for the hotels where I conduct this. It is ad hoc basis, on request, but all I want to know is my telephone number. So I just...
Please, we would like you to tell them your telephone number or whatever way of contacting you, because I'm sure even quite a few foreigners have asked myself, and by that time there were no proper program to lead them to.
So I have now informed the embassies and various other places. So it's 071 488 0574.
Yeah, repeat it, please.
071 488 0574.
And perhaps your email, if there are foreigners who
Yes,
like
it's
to?
Wanigasekera together in simple letters at gmail.com. So it's Wanigasekera at gmail.com. So either way, they could contact me so that the
Yeah.
place could be arranged. And
So I guess it's very convenient and good news for all of you out there, because you can contact Mr. Vipula Wanigasekera and you can just request him to wherever you wish to have him. Maybe you can get organized as a group.
that's how it
yeah.
is happening right now. Yes.
Right. Okay. So, sir, now talking about these spiritual seekers, you know, might they be foreign or might they be local seekers of spiritualism? What prevents them? What do you think prevents them from seeing the truth?
Well, you know, let's take the very words of Lord Buddha, and he said, "Don't believe anything, whether you have heard it from anyone or whether you have read it or whether you have, you know, don't believe." You know, the belief is the very thing that will probably block you, because then you have an opinion. So therefore, everyone is expected to have an open mind. What happens is that people tend to gather knowledge, and there are thousands of sutras and there's so much in Abhidhamma. So there is this notion that, you know, the more you know about Dhamma, that means you are closer to a Margapala. It's absolutely not true, because after all, you know, people like Sunni